everybody. I am here to create on the back side of the gratitude journal that we started. So we're going to do the same things, maybe not in the same order because I'm not sure that I remember that, but we're going to do the same. Let me turn this light on just a second. Okay, that's better. I'm not sure I remember the order, so we're just going to do the product that I remember in some sequence. Okay, so I've got a glue stick, and I have all these papers that I had left over from when we did the papers on the other side. So, okay, so I'm gonna, this is the back of the journal, and when you start with flipping it through this way, you're going to start from the back. And there's going to be a cover on this page, but this page it'll be an actual page. So we're going to put papers on that. And this paper that I've got here, it's some newsprint that I had. I've been doing some oil painting for a class that I'm taking, and that's what this is. I had to change out the other paper because it had too much on it. And I'll use that for my scraps diary later on. It's been a while since I've been on here, and I apologize for that, but I've had a lot going on. Now, I'm not avoiding the folds. But if you remember, the last time I didn't avoid them, but they did give me some trouble. But I'm still going to put it on there because I think it adds to it. But it may crack. In some places it cracked. In other places it, I just had to glue it down better. Okay, so I'm putting 2 or 3 pieces on each page, and I'm just using the glue stick, and I've got various kinds of paper, letters, postcards, a candy wrapper, and just some craft paper, just to give it a different look. This is raising up, so I'm going to turn it over here and try to glue that down better. My finger had some glue on it too. All right, there, that one's lifting. That was a letter. I've got a postage stamp there, not a stamp, but a postmark. Trying to do a better job of getting the edges. And of course I did some sewing for the other side, and it, I get the benefit of it on the back side as well. This is part of that candy wrapper. This part doesn't take very long. And then we'll add some color to it. And then we'll take some, then we'll take back, back it off a little bit with some gesso, and I'm not sure what that is. Got something on the glue stick. I think it's part of that candy wrapper. I'm picking it up and gluing one side, not really knowing what's on the other side. I probably would have, if I had looked, I would have glued it the other way, but it won't matter so much. And you know, the papers are all different size. Well, they're not too much different sizes. They actually are pretty much the same size, but they are different tints, and some of them are whiter than others, and some of them are more muted. But they're all kind of neutral colors. Almost through with it. Here's another piece of the candy wrapper. Let's see if I can get some that's got a little more text on it. But for the most part, I'm just putting it, you know, randomly putting stuff down. This is from a ledger. That one's put upside down, but I don't care. Weather's cooling off a little bit here. I'm not sure, you know, where everybody is from, where your locations are, but we are in the beginning, you know, well, not the beginning. I think the leaves have finally changed. It took them a while this year, but I'll put this strip down, but it's different than the rest of them. Let's see if I need any more, or to tack some more down. Maybe I'll put something else on this page. And maybe this page. Okay, I think that's got it. Push this out of the way. I'm pretty much done with that, I think, but I'm not going to get rid of them. I will use them for something. And this is the color you know, the primary color that I used on the. You don't really see it as prominently since I, you know, knocked it back with some gesso, but, and then that, the Titan Buff paint that I put down through a stencil, all of that was kind of influenced this doesn't want to stick. If it doesn't stick this time, I'll just tear that little piece off. That should stick. It's got a ton of glue on it. Okay, so now I've got this, and I'm gonna just put some down on this paper. And I probably need more than that. It's a relatively thin paint. Not a thick, heavy body. I've kind of put it in a bad location. I'll probably get my edges in it, but that's okay. Just using a palette knife. I'm not sure what I used last time. I might not use quite as much of it. Here we got one that's coming up. Actually feels like it's got enough glue, but I'll scrape it kind of thin so that it doesn't take so long to dry. I had this little line on this paper that I thought was a good boundary for me where I move the book, so hopefully you can see everything. No rhyme or reason, because it has nothing. I mean, it's not like we are, have composition or anything like that. So we're just randomly putting the paper down, and the paint down, and then we're going to add some additional paint. And so, I mean, it's like I said before, it's a process of layers. Layering makes a big difference. Most mixed media has lots of layers on it. I've been doing some paper folding, which I have not had a lot of experience with that. I did something for I was having lunch with some friends on Thursday, and I made a little something for them. If I can, I plan on doing it. I have another couple of friends that were unable to attend, and so I'm going to do something for them. One for them, and hopefully I'll have it the next time I'm going to have to mail it to them. Hopefully I'll have it the next time we get together, and I can show it to you what I did for them. My friends, I love them to death, and most of them are, Bible study friends and church friends and that kind of thing, but they don't share art with me, so I do things. In fact, there's one girl, one time I used to be head of women's ministry at the church I attended, and these women were on my committees, the women's ministry committee, and so I was always getting them into something. I would say, I have this idea, and they would, turn, kind of roll their eyes and think, well, what in the heck has she got us into now? And some of the things that I did were artsy things, and I have this one friend that all they were doing was I had stamped these flowers on these book covers, and we were doing it for a women's ministry event at church, and I wanted each woman to get one of these notebooks with the cover, and a decorated cover, and all they had to do was to use crayons or markers or whatever to color in those flowers. And she said, I can't do it. She just wasn't artsy at all, and she didn't like it. And when I told her, when we got together Thursday, I said, next time we're going to get together, and I'm going to bring all the stuff, and we're going to make one of these together. And she just rolled her eyes at me and said, no, I'm not going to do that. So anyway, okay, so I use that paint. Now I've used this gloss spray in Sage. That's what I did with the spray. And now I'm going to take this bronze, I believe it's a bronze, no, it's vintage photo distress paint. And I think if I remember correct, well, I don't remember at all whether or not this worked. And so far, it's not working. Okay, we're going to open her up here, and I should have a brush somewhere. This is kind of a ratty brush. I don't know whether you know this or not, but if you have a brayer that looks terrible and it's got paint all over it and hard crusted paint, or if you have brushes that you think you have ruined them by leaving them uncleaned, you didn't clean them the last time you used them. If you put them in Murphy's Oil Soap, just by itself, in a container where either the brush heads, or the entire brayer roller is in the Murphy's Oil Soap, and leave it overnight, or for quite a while, it will clean. You'll be able to get virtually all of the paint. Well, you get all of the paint off the brayer, but there might be some in the bristles of the brushes, but for the most part, it'll clean them to where you could use them again. Okay, so that's that. And I see this little edge right here. This little edge in the fold does not want to stay down. I haven't talked to anybody today, and I don't know if you can tell, I'm just wound up, I guess. Okay, I've got this green, and this is Distress Stain. What I had before was Distress Paint, and this is Distress Stain. And if I remember correctly, this one might have worked. So I'm just randomly, I love circles. I've told you all that before. When you kind of splat it down, it spiders out, which makes makes noise, but it just had something fall. Okay, now that was that one. And then I had this one, this is the bronze one, the antique bronze that I used. And I'm gonna this one, I think it worked, but it was just in the center. Oh, next time maybe we will avoid the folds. This gives a little sheen to it. It's shiny. Okay, let's see if there's anything else that I remember using. I think I might have used this pen. It's where is it? Non-toxic, water-based, easy wipe-off, made in China. Surprise, surprise, vintage chalk. Oh, I obviously didn't use this one because I didn't prime it. Well, maybe I got enough of the color anyway. And I had this one. Let's see if I use this. I did not, so we're not going to use it. All right, so I think maybe that's all there is time for today. And I'll let this dry, and then we will, use some gesso and some coffee and some Titan buff through a stencil, and there are some other things that we'll do to it before we go back and start on the other side with what we're gonna make a spread that is all about gratitude. So thank you so much for joining me, and I hope to see you again. Hopefully it'll be sooner than last time. Talk to you later. Bye.